Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here on a Wednesday. It is hump day, the day after the big storm that came through. And joining me, the one and only chief meteorologist, chief of the morning. I can give you all the titles. Chief of the web, Jeff Oechslein.
Chief of the web.
Chief of the web. Chief of the podcast.
Oh, thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, no problem. I know you were sitting back there today going, what am I going to do from about 10 to 10:30?
Well, I was in the green room snacking here at the Phill-Up, but
Well, Jeff, as you see right between us there, right next to my head, it's Valley Converting. We cannot thank Valley Converting enough for all that they do for the 9-minute fill. Oh, thank you for the point. That's it's very much like the giant yellow pointer that's used every once in a while in traffic. Yeah. So we want to thank Mike Biasi and his crew up at Valley Converting, or over or down, wherever you're coming from, whatever direction you're headed. Head to the Gem City of Toronto, Ohio, T-Town, as we like to call it, and check out Mike Biasi and his crew at Valley Converting.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
recycle for your future.
Again, we can't thank Mike and everybody, his crew at Valley Converting, for all that they do. Paper products, if you want to recycle them, they are the place to go. They will take care of you. Now, if you have comments, now a lot of people that check out the 9-minute Phill-Up, I'm sure, had to deal with some of the weather that came through yesterday afternoon. And Jeff, I took a phone call yesterday afternoon. Hey, can you check with Jeff and see what time the storms are going to hit? And basically, I called you. You said 4:30. The big line was going to come through, the strongest stuff, and get some rain after that. And you were right on the money. Unfortunately, not that you're right on the money. Unfortunately, that storm produced a lot of damage with trees going. It seemed like more and more trees. There was some structural damage. You mentioned that you might have lost some shingles on your roof.
yeah. We saw some photos too. I was just looking at our Chime In. If you have some photos or videos you want to share with us, just go to Chime In on the WTOV9 app. Wellsburg, I saw some shingles ripped off a roof there. Lots of photos, lots of trees down there.
Yeah, trees all over. Big trees.
Yeah,
big majestic trees. We had a tree on my road. It was probably 3 or 4 houses down the road. 2 beautiful maple trees right next to each other. One went down yesterday, and it just you feel bad, and then you realize how big those trees are when they're laying in the road. It's like, man, you look at them and you're like, wow, that's a big tree. But then when it's covering up the entire road, no one can get through, and it brings the entire neighborhood out just to look at it. It's just one of those moments where you're like, oh man.
That's what you were saying though. It was in a weird way. It brought everyone out. Yeah. They were like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
Absolutely. City manager in Steubenville, Jim Abramatis, stopped, and he said, well, you're the winner right now in terms of the biggest tree at Steubenville on the roadway. Now, producer extraordinaire Jordan thought maybe because Jeff was on, she wouldn't have to join us for the show, but that is not true. You know why? Because Jordan had to deal with her own issues yesterday in terms of the storm. Jordan, no power last night. For how long?
Yeah. Well, I was taking a nap, and I woke up at like 7 and the power was out. So
you slept through that storm?
I slept completely through it.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
And
well, she's a morning shifter. All of us morning shifters. We can sleep through anything.
When you called, I just sat there and I was like, well, it's Bill, must be important. So I answered.
I just kept like waiting for the power to come back on. I'm like, oh, by 10 o'clock it'll be on.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm like, oh, by 11 it'll be on. Nope. It woke me up to be here. Like it kicked on at like 1:45, like when I was gonna get up to get here. But yeah, it was not fun. So it was out for what, 6 hours?
Yeah. Some people are still dealing with.
Some people still out. Yeah.
It's
just I personally have never, at least I don't remember, I've never experienced like that long of power being out. At least, like I said, I don't remember. When I was little, probably, but.
I believe Jeff mentioned that his power. Is your power still out, or has it come back on?
Yeah, it's I was just pulling up an email we got. But yeah, it's still out. And my wife went and got a generator, which I'm surprised she was able to find a generator.
Yeah.
Because you would think, everyone would have grabbed them. But it's now generator owner. So if anyone out there has any tips out there for because honestly I've never used a generator in my life, but I guess that's a good investment because I'm just afraid. I think restoring the power, because there are so many people without power, I think it's going to be like a marathon versus like a sprint. You know, it's going to take some time. And I saw we got this email here, David.
We're gonna have something about that. Valagal.
I didn't want to mispronounce his name. And they were talking about the high winds, and they say the power company is saying maybe not restored until Sunday.
We're gonna be following up with him.
That's gonna be rough.
That's just showing you it's like that marathon kind of it's not a sprint to restore this, but just because there's so many power outages, and they talked about some of the
Amanda checked in. Here's lines in still no power for Follinsby, and it may be that way for some time. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, Jeff, was when a storm like that comes through. Now there were plenty of warnings. My phone went off a couple times with warnings and everything. And should we treat it as if it's I don't want to say a tornado, but in terms of just getting to a place of safety,
pretty much, yeah.
What would you recommend for people to do if they have an opportunity? Okay,
leave their house.
Yeah, this is gonna happen. Do we stay in the house? Do we go to the basement? Do we? One of the neighbors of mine on the street that I don't really know that well. They have some young kids. He came home and he said, I drove across my yard because the tree was down and I wanted to get in the house to get the kids in the basement to take as best shelter as they could. So and I know as a meteorologist, this all of a sudden becomes your expertise as well, is just not only telling the forecast or giving everyone the information, but also you need to be safe. These are things you can do to stay safe.
Yeah. Well, one little thing that you may have noticed, you mentioned that it came to your phone. Most of the time, a severe thunderstorm warning will not go out to your phone. Yesterday's did. The reason why is because they added, when I say the National Weather Service added a destructive tag to it. So they were estimating winds upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour. So that's why they added that. And when they add that destructive tag to it, it automatically gets pushed to your phone. So if you get one of those to your phone like that, you should say, okay, this is a little more serious than a normal severe thunderstorm warning. I better take some cover. Get into a basement, get someplace low, get away from windows. I think one of the things that people like to do when there's a storm is like, press their, look at the wind. I never saw the wind. And they have, if the wind's blowing a tree down, it could come down the window. So you try to stay away from windows because you just don't know what's going to be flying around out there. And if you have a basement, get to a basement. If you don't have a basement, an interior room, treat it like a tornado.
Yeah, I was kind of in the middle of the house, away from the windows. My dad kind of walked over and I was like, "Hey, you may want to be there for that." So, and then I started getting hey, did you see the tree down? And I'm thinking, I'm in the house, so I can't see the tree. It's pouring down rain. So then finally, when it let up a little bit, I kind of poked my head out and saw the tree. But then I heard the crackles of, thunder and lightning, and I went, I'm going back in the house. I don't need to be out here right now. And but it's one of those things where you just you be cautious. There's no point in being out where you can get yourself in any type of trouble. And all of a sudden you turn a day where, okay, we're going to get through this storm, everything's going to be fine. Oh no, this is what happened when you don't have.
Thankfully, for as many of these large trees that fell down, we don't have too many serious. There was one person. We had a story.
Over I think Brooke County, maybe. Yeah. Brooke Hancock County. We talked to the Brooke County EMS director. He said that a tree had come down, hit someone's home, and apparently that person got hit in the head or something. So hopefully they're okay. Richard checking in. Nathan did a great job doing tornado coverage yesterday, and that's always big. That's always big. So and that what is the rule for that? Or the rule once that warning is issued, are you required by law to go on, or how's that work?
We have to we have to be on, and we have to have closed captioning on as well, and it has to be the crawl on. So there's multiple things that have to be on. But yeah, that's our number one job, is to alert people, especially in severe weather, such as warnings like a tornado warning. Yeah, and yeah, Nathan did a great job covering it, leading up into the newscast. I believe it was right before 5, or
it was
trying to think
about
of the
4:30.
timing. Yeah,
I mean, you
4:30.
told me 4:30 was probably when it was going to hit, and it did. I mean, it was right on the money. And like I said, I talked to the athletic director I was talking to, and someone wanted. They were supposed to play a game. Another team traveling from a good distance, and I said I would just recommend not. Why would you mess with it?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's why they did. They probably canceled it, but it was just one of those things where it's like, why would you even think this keep coming just to play a baseball game if there's could be severe storms in the area? And I think you just mentioned something that I think is really at the core of what we do, and some people I think lose that. Maybe some of the viewers, maybe some of the people who work in the industry, but I really feel like if there is something that we can do that directly impacts viewers, whether it is a food drive for people that are struggling, or the Salvation Army says we're having a food drive, we're having a clothing drive, people at Christmas time, and a lot of people they look, well, it's Christmas time, it's Thanksgiving, that's all they do. No, when they have a food drive and it's the middle of March or it's the middle of February, and you're thinking, how can we help? You get the message out as best you can. So you're doing that on that, and I think that's our responsibility. I think it's our number one responsibility, as much as being, well, I want to hear the news about the car accident or something sensational, or that's not really that important to everybody's life. It doesn't impact you or anybody else. Yeah. But when it's, how do we tell people how to get food? How do we tell people to get shelter? Water is out, so you need to go to this fire station to have water buffaloes, or you need to go to this location. And it's the same when you guys go on. And I know sometimes people get frustrated when they see a crawl on the screen, but that's for your own protection. And I know sometimes, well, I'm not in that county. Well, sometimes it's a big coverage area that we have. So sometimes it might not be your county, but sometimes it is. And you want to make sure you're safe.
Yeah. We cover a large area, and we have to, every county in our area, we have to treat the same. So, especially, meteorologists across the country run into this, especially if there's a sporting event.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's something big going on. Yeah. I don't know.
The Masters is on, and the warning is covering up the hole whenever they putt.
Yeah. So, but that's there for your safety. So that's the reason why we do it. We were talking about the wind, and I don't know if everyone noticed, the wind really was the strongest at the beginning of the storm, right? And that's because this storm originated way back St. Louis, came across Indiana. We were tracking it yesterday, and what it developed was this. When it rains, how it gets cooler after it rains. Yeah. So out ahead of it, it was warming up. We were warm in the 80s and actually turned humid for a little bit. And then all that rain cooled air kept on building behind the storm. And that created almost like a little front. And as it went through that's what caused all that wind to build up. It was that big temperature drop, and it just splatters out like pancake batter pouring out, and that's what that wind it was just ferocious.
Now what was the term you used this morning? The long extended, because it started back in St. Louis.
800 miles or more.
Wow.
So that's called a derecho. Anytime you have wind damage for hundreds of miles, I'm trying to think of the exact number. I think it's like 300 or 400 miles in length and in width of about 100 miles. And that's called a derecho. It's basically a long-lived wind event. We had one in 2012 that was around, I think it was in July.
Some people say when I'm on the 9-minute Phill-Up and I go for 45 minutes, I am a derecho.
Well, sometimes,
you got to poke fun at yourself. You got to poke fun at yourself.
Who are these people?
It would be me.
Yeah, but that's what they're called. That one in 2012, though, it was. After that went through, it was like 100 degrees. Yeah. And people didn't have air conditioning for a week. So that was a lot more dangerous.
Well, and that's, so we'll be interested to see when we'll keep everyone updated how long the power is going to be out. And you got to know the people at the power companies, whether they're AEP or whatever power company you may or may not have, they're out there busting their tails because, they want it to get fixed as quickly as possible. So, it's one of those things where it's just, you try and give everybody the room that they need to do what
It's
they
like
have to
road
do.
crews in the wintertime,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they were out there treating the roads day and night, but if you don't see a plow when you're driving and it's snowing like crazy, I did have to chuckle, though. I did see something that said Aaron Rodgers should feel right at home in Pittsburgh because we're in the dark.
All right. I like it. All right. Jimmy's got a question for you, Jeff. What was the highest gust and highest sustained wind reports from yesterday?
Well, based like an actual observation was Wheeling, Ohio County Airport had 71 miles per hour, but then it went missing. We still don't have anything from it this morning. So it was 71. But radar was estimating as high as 80 and 90 in some spots. And that's, equivalent to low rating tornadoes. That's the reason why, your tree outside doesn't, an 80, 90 mile per hour wind. If the wind is going around like this, that's a tornado. Straight line wind is like big bad wolf. An 80, 90 mile per hour wind is still going to knock down a tree, whether it's spinning or not. So that's why, you had to treat it like it was a tornado.
All right. Here's an interesting one. We put everybody's comment up. You know why?
Yeah.
You know why? Why not?
Why not?
Weather modification.
Oh, boy.
If you don't believe me, look up patent for it. Must be hard being a weather forecaster when it is being engineered, but not a peep out of the puppets. All right, Bell. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what. If that was engineering, that's pretty impressive. 800 miles of a windstorm.
Yeah, I never understand why people want to generate, especially why would a government want to generate storms that's going to cause millions of dollars of damage, like hurricanes and stuff like that? That doesn't make any sense.
No. All right. Here we go. Brian, Jeff, and WTOV News does a great job keeping us safe during storms. Brian, thank you very much. Brian, a regular with 9-Minute Phill-Up. Yeah, and
got the regulars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Brian, I'll tell you what. Cheers here.
Well, Brian, he has had a big Monroe Central fan. Great football season, now basketball state championship. So, Brian always checking in. We greatly appreciate that. We truly do. Tom checking in, and unfortunately, I don't know if we have an exact answer for anybody right now. What I want to know is when the power will come back on. Trust us, they are out working on that, the power companies, but we're already getting some information in from Follinsby, for example. I don't know, Tom, where you are located, but Follinsby, for instance, they think they might be in a situation where it's going to be a few days because of where the power lines are and where the damage was done. So if we will try and update that as much as possible, I would imagine, keep a look on your emails from your power company, or if they put out any text messages or text alerts, you want to check those out.
You can also look at I don't know where you are, but the outage maps, AEP will post outage maps, and First Energy, Mon Power will post the outage maps. So if you just put in your zip code, you can look on there.
There's a poweroutage.us. It's a website that we use, and it will show you each county in the United states and counties, and it'll highlight them in different colors, which ones have the most. And last check, I think Jefferson County had 16,000 people without power. So that email brought up a good point. I mean, there are trees down in wooded areas where they don't even know, they got to find this stuff yet. When you see widespread winds like that versus a thunderstorm that just affects a small area, your power is going to get back on sooner if it's a small area type of system. But when it's widespread like that, covering a large area, unfortunately, it could take a long, long time.
Yeah, Wild yesterday, still out of power. That's it was a rough go. Fortunately, though, the only word we have on any injuries is apparently just that one person. So and hopefully they're doing okay. But
because there were large trees that came.
Oh down. Yeah, I mean, if anybody had been in a car and just at the exact, and sometimes everyone's like, "Oh, that's never happened." It happens more than you think. If someone had gone by and the tree that fell on our road had fallen on a car, I would hate to think of what would have happened. So. And actually, I mentioned to the homeowner that we were there, and he knew the same thing. There's a young family across the street. Their little kids are always playing on that sidewalk all day. Like, I make sure I go extra slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking if they wouldn't be out necessarily in a windstorm, because the parents are like, no, we're not gonna be outside. But if they had been, or if someone had been walking home trying to get out of the storm, you never know.
Think about the timing too. I mean, it was most schools were, I would say,
by
they
then,
were out by then, but it was pretty close.
Okay. Brianna checking in. Weird McDonald's is open and bananas free Wi-Fi. There you go. So that's pretty good. So now here's if you're on a laptop and you have a battery going that's going to power that, and you're looking to get a charge, maybe that's where you go. If you're in the Weirton area, you go try and get
the real
some
question
Wi-Fi
is that ice cream machine working at that McDonald's? That's the real question we need to figure out.
Yeah. April checking back in. Patient friends, they're working hard. Just pray the crews are all stay safe. Amen. Amen to that. Patience.
And sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if we saw what happens in these events if you get power companies from outside of our area coming in to help. I mean, think about when there are like hurricanes, their power companies from here will go down to those hurricane areas. So it is possible because it's over such a large area.
And we're talking about, tornadoes, windstorms. Brian, back in again. I would have never thought a tornado would have happened in Monroe County last year. It tore up my parents' farm pretty good. So, I mean, these storms are nothing to mess with. If you have the early warning and you can, get safe, everything else can be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a new car, you get a new house, you get anything else can be replaced. Can't replace human life. So
Hannah's doing a story coming up here. She's working on the 1-year anniversary of the Hancock County tornado. So she has that coming up in May, I believe. We've seen an uptick in severe weather the past couple of years.
Yeah. The ratio back in 20, you were just talking about that, and lost power for days, so much destruction, lost all the food. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you were talking about. You get the generator so you can keep from leaving your food.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a freezer. We actually have a freezer downstairs. It's more known as like the beer fridge, but there you go. So we have, I like to, like, if there's a sale on chicken or whatever, I like to stock up and then I freeze it.
Oh yeah, so, absolutely.
You have a lot invested in there.
With as much money as everything costs these days. Yeah, you absolutely have to. Chrissy checking in. Tom, they don't have estimates yet. There are still places they can't even get to yet. It might be a few days. Be prepared. And now April, Wellsburg United Methodist Church is open if you need coffee or to charge your cell phone, laptop. So this is what I love. This is what I love about the community, about the Ohio Valley, and you hope it is all across the country, and I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
People helping people. All right, someone's. I need some information. If we can't give you the information right now, we already have people checking in saying, "Hey, here's where you go. They can help you." And right now, the ability to charge a phone or a laptop so you can get that information is critical. Yesterday, when the storm started to go through, I know my phones were a little bit low. It was about a half hour before you told me they were going to get there. So I put them on a charger, and then as soon as we got the warning, I said, "All right, Dad, turn your computer off. You don't want to get a surge through it or anything like that." Turned everything off, but I got enough of a charge. I was like, okay, if I had to go the rest of the night, I can at least have that phone. So that's important. So Wellsburg United Methodist Church open if you need coffee or a charge on your cell phone or perhaps your laptop.
Another thing I noticed yesterday, of course, we didn't have Wi-Fi, but the cell signal was pretty bad too in a lot of spots. So I don't know. I'm sure there's some cell towers that were affected by those winds too.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you guys. Still without power in Wellsburg, but girls are enjoying playing outside. Well, it's a beautiful day today. Yeah. And the calm before and after the storm, apparently, and that's the thing. I mean, we're gonna have to wait, make sure the power's back on, all of those things. But sometimes it's as simple as that to put a smile on your face after something like that. Hey, look at my kids. Look at my beautiful kids. Look at my beautiful kids' friends, and they're just playing, having a good time.
Yeah. And my son was excited because he was having his state testing today, and they don't have school today, so he was all excited.
Yeah, I would imagine if they said, okay, we're not going to have any school the rest of the week, he'd be like, okay with that, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't realize that state testing is going to catch up with it Monday or Tuesday, one of these days. Yeah. But hey, I remember, you get that it's a snow day.
Yeah.
It was all bets are off.
And the other thing is a lot of times if they had snow days, they would have these virtual days where they would still have to go online. Well, today they don't have that, because they can't get online in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So it's an actual day off.
Yep.
That they'll probably have to make up.
Right. It might be a day of picking up sticks in the backyard off of the trees that came down, or not the trees that came down, maybe some branches blown out of the trees.
That was the thing. I was looking at that because I pressure washed the deck and everything this weekend, and I'm like, holy, it's like there's like little twigs just everywhere.
Gonna have to restart. All right, Port Washington and New Philadelphia has power outages as well. There's it's pretty much up and down
everywhere.
The valley,
the southern part of the viewing area, when I'm talking Wetzel, Tyler, Noble, those counties didn't have a whole lot. Last check, they were like a handful. They were under 100.
And it seemed like the last few weeks when we would get rain or substantial events, it was in the southern counties, and now the northern counties. You just never know.
Well,
you do, but
it has a way of evening itself out sometimes.
Absolutely. All right, Port Washington mentioned that. Brian, Jeff, wasn't it unusual to have so many tornadoes in Ohio last year?
It was. It was a record year for tornadoes last year. Now we don't have the same number of tornadoes this year, and in fact, what went through yesterday there probably wasn't even a tornado. It was just all straight line winds. I was talking to the Weather Service if they would do a survey of this damage, and they said the problem would be there's so much wind damage because of 80, 90 mile per hour winds that went through. For them to actually find where there might have been a tornado which caused the damage to, if you ever see it, and how they determine it's kind of interesting. Some people think you look at a tree and if it's twisted, that's not necessarily the case. I was on one of these in Wintersville several years ago, and which way the storm's coming from. So if the storm's coming from this way, you should see, if it's straight line winds, right?
Yeah.
You should see everything blown this way.
Yeah.
If a grill is back here from a house that's here, that was a tornado, because as the storm's coming, the tornado picks it up and then tosses it backwards.
Oh, okay.
So they found a grill about 100 yards away from the guy's house, a football field away from the guy. Like, think about that. I mean, it picked up a grill and deposited 100 yards away.
Was it a Blackstone?
No, I'm not sure. No, it wasn't a black. It wasn't a flat top.
Was it a Weber kettle grill?
It was silver. I'm not sure what one it was, but
we know it was silver. We're not sure the make or model, but we know it was silver.
And then that house was badly damaged, and the house across the street, it didn't get touched.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap up this.
Our 9 minutes are up.
They've been up for a while. I see. It doesn't go fast. It's been a half hour, but it went fast. Yeah. But here, before we go, we just have to mention one thing. Jordan's going to weigh in on this as well. Mr. Potato Head Day. What are we thinking about the Potato Head? I always thought Potato Head was a pretty cool toy.
Oh yeah.
What about Mrs. Potato Head?
She's cool too.
Yeah.
I had both.
The Potato Head family.
Yeah.
And then of course in the movie Toy Story. And what wasn't Don Rickles the voice of the Potato Head?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than Don Rickles. But the Potato Head, you could take the arms off, change the arms out. You get muscle arms, you get skinny arms.
I think Toy Story made Mr. Potato Head cool again.
I think so. But it's one of those. Potato Head rocks. Yeah. I think so.
And then it's also National Raisin Day, you said?
Jordan's out on that. Don't talk about raisins.
Not a fan of the raisins.
No.
What was the other day that
there's a lot today?
There was a ton today.
I like an oatmeal raisin cookie though.
It was oatmeal cookie day today was one of them.
Why not combine it? Raisins don't need their own day.
Yeah, well, here we go. So these were the days that there was a bunch. Stop Food Waste Day. That's always important. Bubble Tea Day. I'm not sure what they have. I'm not really sure what that is.
It's like
some sort of
thing. Yeah.
prepare-a-thon day. So to get ready for things, maybe for storms, maybe
Maybe
school.
this is your sign to make like a storm ready box.
Kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Well, the one thing I do know from the trees going down, I said to people yesterday, I need to look at my backyard. So I have 2 huge trees back there, and I was talking about this the other week. But look in there, see if we need to cut some of that stuff out. Maybe cut them down a little bit. I don't want to cut them down, but
yeah,
man, there's some big trees, and you would hate to have anything happen. National Adopt a Shelter Pet Day. That's
nice.
always a good one. Raisin Day.
I think they cramp so many
cookie
because
day.
it's the last day of the month.
Yeah.
You got to get them all in.
Yeah.
Hairstylist Appreciation Day. Well, no. All right. I think this might be my top. Well, this is the top one. National Honesty Day. Be honest.
Honesty is the best policy.
Well, there you go. Or if you don't like that one, this could be the one. National Bugs Bunny Day. Yeah. Bugs Bunny. Can't beat Bugs Bunny.
I got to give a shout out to Janie. She's our hairstylist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps me tight as a tiger.
Yeah, tight as over Legal Hair.
Yeah,
absolutely. She does a great job. And Bugs Bunny, back in the day when I was a kid, 7:00 in the morning, Looney Tunes. There we go. Me and my brother David, we'd sit together, watch all the Bugs. Bugs was my favorite. It's my favorite. It's good dude. Yeah,
I like Bugs.
All right.
I also like the Coyote.
Oh yeah, Roadrunner and Coyote.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Always getting his stuff from Acme, and it never worked right.
Talking about having 9 lives, though.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jordan, I think we're about ready to wrap this thing up. Jeff, you know the 2 rules?
I did. Be positive. Something.
You're on the right track.
Something about being positive.
Close.
All right.
I don't. You say it so well, though.
Okay.
Just
2 rules,
flows right
everybody.
off.
Have fun.
Have fun.
And always try your best. Because really, if you think about it, Jeff, if you're having fun and trying your best, if someone complains, so you say, "Hey, I'm trying my best. I'm having fun."
I should make it a sign. Put that up in the weather center. That'd be good.
Right,
Every day.
Yeah.
Have fun. Try your best.
Yeah.
That's
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Because if you're doing that, you're doing the best you can. All right, everybody. Until next time. That means tomorrow morning. Oh, hey, tomorrow morning we're not only gonna have the 9-minute Phill-Up, but then at 11:00, Jordan's going, "What are we doing at 11:00?" I didn't know. This is not on my sheet.
I already know.
Oh, we do know. Yes, it's the Kentucky Derby. It's off to the races. Mark Patterson's going to join us at 11:00. We're going to get a breakdown of the Kentucky Derby, horses that are in there. Maybe a horse you should wager on, or maybe stay away from. But we're going to have the Kentucky Derby, Jeff. Saturday, first Saturday in May.
I heard Toby Keith.
Jordan is so ready to leave. She's like,
I heard Toby Keith.
Yeah, I believe he does have a horse in there.
He passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
He has a horse that's in this race.
Yeah. So I would imagine a lot of wagers will be put on that horse in honor of Toby Keith. Absolutely. So hopefully they get great weather in Kentucky. Hopefully it's a great race. And it'll be on WTOV9, NBC. So you can watch all of the coverage, which begins at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Bill will be wearing
on Saturday.
A fancy hat tomorrow.
Absolutely. Fancy hat.
Big hat.
And a mint julep. I've never had a mint julep. My mom doesn't like them. She likes the Kentucky Derby. She has. Jordan is looking at me like, we need to go. We have a show to do. All right, everybody. See you next time. Jeff, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
Jordan, thank you so much for not killing me before the end of the show. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.